Please give a warm welcome to writer-director Yorgos Zois. Welcome, Yorgos. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much also for having me here, and thank you very much for staying and being here with me tonight.
Yeah. I'm going to start with the location, the bridge, which is in Marathon, Greece, and the dam, and the symbolism of that location, which is a bridge that brings, of course, the water to the land. Yeah, tell us about choosing that location and its importance.
Yeah, the location, first of all, is outside Athens, 1 hour outside Athens. And it's a location that I used to go when I was doing my first spots. And it always haunted me, you know, the forest, the trees in the sand, the dam. So, and I was always thinking that somebody should do a film here, you know. And after 10 years, I said I will do it. And but yeah, the dam, it's a spectacular shot, but at the same time, it's very organic to the narration because it's like you said, the dam separates two worlds, you know, water and earth. And in the film, as you've all watched, there are two parallel worlds, you know, the physical world and the metaphysical world, spiritual and material. And if you remember also, in that scene with the dam, there are two cars, the police car and the jeep that the protagonist is, like one following the other. Like, you know, like in the film, the ghosts are following the living. And at the same time, they are in this thin line that separates, you know, water and land, these two worlds. So I think this is one of the shots that speaks for the film without saying it loud, you know, what happens, yeah.
Correct, and I mentioned that I was having a conversation with Yorgos right before, then my brother is a big historian, and he was explaining that the bridge is meant to join the past and the future, which it also beautifully ties with your film. So, but did you write the script specifically thinking about the dam and that bridge?
No, not in the beginning, because you know the inspiration came from other things. So, but when we started searching for locations, I knew that I'm going to shoot it in that area. But when I thought about the dam, I said the dam is organic to the film. We should make a scene there, and it's the scene that the police car leads the protagonist to the house. Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a scary little bridge. It's just a one way, and yeah, I was horrified when I was watching the film every time that car went through it. Tell us about there is so many other symbols in this film that are so powerful. The shoes. You always shoot, windows are a big part of the film. People are either looking in or looking out. Tell us about how you put in all those other symbols in the film.
The shoes. The shoes, first of all, I was always haunted by the image of shoes being left on roads, these scattered shoes that sometimes we've seen on roads.
Yeah.
And for me, always a pair of shoes alone is like a body's missing,
The body's missing.
Yeah. So when we were writing with my co-writer the ghost mythology, we thought that, it would be nice, ghosts, they can do everything, they can eat, drink, even have sex, but they cannot take out their shoes, The shoes are the ones that keep them stuck on Earth. Yeah. And shoes has a lot to do also with gravity, It keeps us on Earth. And at the same time, it tells some things about our personality, what kind of shoes we wear. And the film says, in a way, you have to know, be careful what shoes you're going to wear,
And it's a striking first image we see is her lying in the back of the car, and we see only her shoes. Tell us about, you mentioned the sex. I've read in literature that the French call it the little death, and that it's that moment that you forget everything, but instead, in your film, is the reverse. Yeah. They have sex, and they actually are able to remember things. Yeah. Tell us about that aspect.
I agree with your interpretation. Sex and death are very much connected to literature and cinema. Sometimes some of my favorite sex scenes are during or after a funeral. But for me, that was the point that you said. I mean, the French call it a tiny death, and it's right, because the moment you reach orgasm, you are like out of your body, right, with the living people. So for me, ghosts, when they reach sex, it's like a tiny speck of life. Mm-hmm. And what is life? It's memory. So they grab a tiny speck of life and they grab the memories, mm-hmm. so they can understand who they are. Because as you've seen in the film, the ghosts have a partial amnesia, right? They just mm-hmm. remember what the living person remembers. Mm-hmm. So this also scene, it's not a pornography scene. It's a scene really with tender solidarity. Yeah. They help each other reach orgasm so they can grab memories and remember who they were.
Correct. Yeah. It's very touching. Tell me about the connection that you make, which is rather beautiful, about dreams and love, and how connected they are in the film.
Dreams and love. For me, I can tell you that it's not only dreams and love. I mean, it's more like ghosts and love, And
okay.
And in a way, I think this was also an initial inspiration of the film, because I remember that after a big separation that I had in my life, I had this sensation that I was carrying my ex-lover around. In the morning, subliminally, I just put 2 cups of tea. Mm-hmm. And I think I connected somehow the loss of a love with the birth of a ghost.
Mm. But we're used to seeing in ghost stories that the ghosts are haunting the living, and you do the reverse. You have the living are actually haunting the ghost. Tell us about that dynamic.
The film has a lot to do with the struggle of letting it go, right?
Yeah.
And it's very hard to let it go. People that we lost, or even people that they are dead, or people that it doesn't have to be somebody that died. Maybe it's an ex-lover. It's really hard to let it go. So it's like we are dragging them. Mm-hmm. It's like a hostage situation, And to tell you the truth, I don't really know who suffers more. Is it the living person who can barely breathe, dragging the ghost behind, or is it the ghost that cannot really escape? Mm-hmm. And so for me, this is realism. It's not a surrealism. We are our ghosts. We are our obsessions. And as you've seen in the film, it's not only about love. It can be also about hate.
Yeah.
You remember the guy with
correct, the older man.
The older man that he hates him.
Yeah.
And so these are very strong emotions that connect us. And somehow, if you have pending issues with somebody that has left, you just bring him with you. Mm-hmm. And actually, I met a ghost hunter in Creta.
Oh,
correct. A ghost hunter. Yeah.
I don't understand.
Ghost hunter. How can
ghost hunter.
Yeah.
Okay.
In Creta, and he told me, yes, you're right. Yeah, that's what happens.
But you also make this point that people that carry guilt, it's not just them, but the the other person is also carrying, the spouse is also carrying the guilt. You know, I'm referring to the little girl
Yeah.
that the wife carries with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's also, something that I liked, that in the afterlife, she realizes that she was also carrying a ghost, And she was carrying a ghost because she was the one who was prescribing the pills, and she felt guilty about it. So the man was not carrying, the ghost that of the girl that he killed. It was the woman, because sometimes women really carry the burden of the man that they are with them.
Music is very important in your film, and the last scene with them singing, the lyrics are so poignant about their story, but also in particular, I was really struck with the polyphonic dirges of Epirus, which is usually done with, it's a song for mourning.
Yeah.
Tell us about using that piece and the importance in the film.
So the polyphonic song, this is somehow ancient music, and it comes from the place that my father grew up. And when I was a child, I was really listening to these songs. And these are the songs that most of the times we sing, the living person sing it to the funeral,
Mm-hmm.
like mourning.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, it was very nice. In the reverse concept, you see in the film that ghosts are suffering.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who sing it to the living persons. Please, go
Mm-hmm.
on. Let us go,
Mm-hmm.
And for me, this is one of the most striking sequences in the film, because it connects all the stories together. Because the film is not only about the main couple; it's also the police officer and the dog, the mother and the daughter, the older man and the murderer. I mean. In a way, to tell you the truth, I always liked from Paul Thomas Anderson, Magnolia, there's a singing sing that everybody sings. And when I heard this song, I called my co-writer and I told her, I think I found the core of the film. So everybody should connect. It came afterwards, after the script.
Mm-hmm.
All stories should resolve here. And I think sometimes, I don't really want to explain a lot of things because sometimes I'm killing them, but, these songs are so powerful.
Yeah.
And I really wanted the film to be like a spell,
Mm-hmm.
I use the music and the sound design in this way so it can follow you after the screening.
Yeah.
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 And the last thing I did is that we used musical phrases of the song through a very strange Bulgarian theremin
Mm-hmm.
that produces some frequencies that really haunt you. So what you are hearing on the film is basically the same theme of the song, but deconstructed in this theremin instrument, and from the beginning to the end, it's like a loop in the head, and when the song comes, you hear it as it is.
Oh, wow. Tell us about the look of the film. The photography is so beautiful. The color scheme that you came up with, and also the fog that envelops the film. Tell us about how do you guys develop the look of the film?
The look of the film also has to do a lot with what you said before about the windows, For me, because it's always these two worlds. So I really wanted to have, like windows, reflections. Ghosts are also reflections of the living. You have the door leading from one place to the other, like the door connecting these two worlds. I also used cold and blue palettes in contrast with warm palettes when the scene is more sentimental. So all this contrast between words, even if it's sounds or colors or mood, I think it's the core of the film. in order to make it like a spell, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And then, how difficult was it for your actors? The people that are alive cannot see the ghost, and you have scenes between the living and the dead next to each other, and one has to ignore what the other person that's standing next to them. Was it hard for actors to get used to that dynamic?
I think the first thing that I had to break with Angeliki, the protagonist, was that she was telling me we should find the energy of a ghost, spiritual, and I was telling her, no. Listen, in this film, if you also watch the film, you will see that the living persons are more like ghosts, right? They are trapped into their obsessions and they cannot go on. So they are like living dead, while the ghosts are more alive than the living persons, right?
Yeah.
It's a paradox, but that's true because they want to get out, they want to escape, they want to see their beloved person move on so they can also move on. So I told her, listen, you see the living persons, you can react, you should react, really alive to what is going on. Of course, because you are a newbie ghost, you don't really know the logistics yet. Correct. So in the beginning, it's like, you try to understand, but you have to be energetic. While Vangelis, who played the protagonist and all the living persons, cannot see, the ghosts. So Vangelis told me something because we were searching his energy, and he told me something, what I'm doing, I'm not looking outside, I'm looking inside me.
Oh, wow.
So that was it. And when this happened, you can see that Angeliki is here, and he's looking inside him, Mm-hmm. Because, and as a character, he has a double shock, right? He learns, first of all, that his wife is dead, and then that his wife was cheating on him. Mm-hmm. And so this is a double shock for him, he's really numbed. And he tries to realize what has happened, to piece the piece of the puzzle together.
Correct.
So, yeah. It goes.
The two of them, the two leads, are well known in Greece. I mean, they're terrific, wonderful actors. Tell us about casting them. Was it hard to convince them to join you on this ride?
No, it wasn't. It was. First of all, it's the first time they are acting together. Mm-hmm. So that was a challenge for both of them, and both of them really wanted to act together. And for me, it was a bet because Angeliki Papoulia, who plays, in many international films, and she's very well known, she's always a little bit more spiritual, while Vangelis is really more grounded to earth, and it plays in more realistic films, realism films. But for me, knowing that Vangelis, let's say, he's in the world of the living, and Angeliki is in the world of the ghost, in the ghost world. Since I knew that they were already carrying, Angeliki the sky and Vangelis the earth, it was a bet these two worlds, to put them together, because the film in a way says that physical and metaphysical are in the same dimension that we call life. It's not separate worlds. They are here. For example, here maybe there are more seats, maybe it's sold out,
Okay. Well, we got to look for shoes. There might be some shoes laying around. Tell me about something that I noticed, and it has to do with the point of view of the film, that we start seeing it through her eyes, and then the point of view switches to him, and then eventually it's combined. Yeah.
You are the most intelligent moderator. Great.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. Yeah, you made my day. Thank you.
Really great. Nobody. That's what we want to do. Yeah. Even if it's unorthodox, the film starts with him, then he sleeps. The film goes on with the narration of the ghost. Then you have other characters, like a collage between them. They resolve into the song, and then the film becomes their relationships, you know?
I almost felt like it was my point of view, like it was the audience finally looking at all of them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm happy for it.
Yeah, yeah. Tell us about. Was that you and your DP, or was it before writing that you came up with that dynamic of point of view?
No. I think it wasn't a decision before, you know. Like it was never a decision what I wanted to say, because you know, if you know what you want to say, then I can write it in this piece of paper, give it all to you, you know. It doesn't have to be made as a film. So it came up in the process, especially when you have, secondary characters entering in. Then you have to keep the balance, you know, between the main couple, the other characters, and in the end, it's the main couple again. Yeah. So I really like this change of points of view all the time, because I think the film has many doors that you can enter, you know?
Correct, yeah. There is so much interpretation that takes place. I actually cannot wait to see it again so I can catch more of what is what. Was that your intention for people to get to, once you see it again, like, at the beginning, it takes a while for us. You hint. You start giving us breadcrumbs that we're seeing ghosts, but I'm dying to see it again. So, knowing what I know, was that always your intention for multiple viewings?
No, only the distributor, to get back for the second ticket. No, I'm just kidding. Listen, like in life, you gradually realize what is going on, with the people that you meet, with the new town that you're arriving. Also, in the film, I wanted for you to have a sense of life, In the beginning, you are thinking of something different, and you are thinking that you are really clever, and maybe you are bored or something, and suddenly, it changes the point of view. And then, when something like that happens to me, when I think I'm more clever than the film, and I know now where it's heading, and suddenly it happens, I'm like, okay, now please, take me, I can go wherever you want, take me to this journey. So for me, it's this film is like a trip, like a journey, it can open different things into your brain. Sorry, I did Master of Neuroscience, that's why. And but I did a screening in Columbia University before I came here, and we were talking about that there are many doors that you can enter. Maybe you can enter from the relationship of the police officer and the dog, or because you like ghost mythology, or because you have lost a person and you identify with them. And there was a professor there that taught poetry, and she told me, please, can I interrupt you a little bit? I said, yeah, please. And she says, a student of mine asked me, what makes a good poem? And she said, that's a good question. A good poem is the one that has many doors. So, yeah.
Well, your film has many doors. The film was chosen to represent Greece at the Oscars. What has been the reception back at home?
It was a sleeper hit in Greece. It began in 2 screening rooms, and then there was a full positive word of mouth, and it stays in the cinema for 5 months and got a lot of admissions, and people were talking about it. While most art house films stay for 2 weeks, it stayed 5 months, and it has been traveling all around the world, and also won Best Film, Best Script, Best Director from the Greek Film Academy, so it was appreciated by the Greek community, which is also nice. And here I am now with you in Santa Barbara. Wow. So, the journey goes on, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah. Well, we're so thrilled to have you here. It's a fantastic film, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Thank you. And I know that if you guys have questions and you want to come and say hello to Yorgos right after this, he'll love to greet you and say hello and answer your questions.
Yes, please. I'm really open, and I would love to hear you.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for staying here.
Παρακαλώ.
Ευχαριστώ.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, no.